Hello, I'm Alex Jones, and I'm a radio and television host based in Austin, Texas. And for many years, I've been exposing the criminal activities of the global elite, also known as the New World Order. My research has covered such topics as the militarization of police, the attack on America's national sovereignty, the destruction of private property rights, the family. All of these institutions must be destroyed before the establishment can create their ultimate dream, a one-world government, absolutely ruled by despotic criminals hell-bent on micromanaging our lives. The story you're about to see is true. All of it is verifiable and documented, from the news articles to the actual first time to be ever seen video from inside. So I don't want you to just chuck it off as wild conspiracy theories. This is reality. Truth is stranger than fiction.
For a million man march, MAGA march, this ain't a million people, dude. Y'all wasn't out for the million man march. Move forward! Move forward! Trump, your USA! 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 USA!
I don't know how far you are. Did you look it up?
I hadn't been here since the since the fake pandemic, and it's sad. I come back to DC, everything's shut down, everything's locked down, businesses are boarded up. You can't even go get breakfast, you can't even go get dinner, you can't even go shopping, you gotta wear a face mask, you gotta get a test, you gotta go into quarantine. And it's given me a real taste of what a communist country would look like. And it fucking sucks. So I don't want the Democrats to turn America into a communist hellhole. Hey, thank you, police. We love you guys. We got your backs. But I do think it's sad that the violent left gets to come to D.C. and riot and loot and burn and destroy. It's destroy monuments, destroy parks and churches. And then when we come to town, a group of people who have never burned, never looted, never rioted, never done any criminal activity, they shut down the whole city. We can't go on public property. We can't go in front of the White House. We can't go into parks. But the left, who riots and loots and destroys, they get full access to all of it. They get to put their propaganda everywhere. But God-fearing, America-loving patriots come to town and they shut this city down. So it's pretty pathetic in D.C., I'm not going to lie.
Alex called me on Sunday, I guess that was like November 6th, and he says, we're going to DC. We announced it that night. And now a million people are about to be in D.C.
From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, right with home. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Coming from a neutral perspective, you say, do you think government is corrupt? Like 90% of people are going to answer yes to that. Do you think that mainstream media is corrupt? Again, like 90% of people are going to answer yes to that. But, I mean, sadly, you can't convince people, I think, that what they see on TV is a lie. Otherwise, Alex Jones would have retired a long time ago.
He's good. No, he's good.
What do you guys think about Alex Jones? Let me tell you, the sleeping giant is awake. We're not going on your lockdown too. We're not taking your vaccines, and Bill Gates can burn in hell. American unity, we all love each other. We love everybody. America's together. Alex Jones! Alex Jones! Alex Jones! Alex Jones!
Good to see you again, brother. Good to see you, brother. I'm sorry you didn't get to make it out, man. Sorry. That sucks.
We got stuck
blocked in.
We were there. We were back in the fucking crowd.
Hey, man, we got up there. We were up there for an hour. I'm coming back, and the fucking crowd's still coming. And I have this badass shot where I'm zoomed in, and I slowly zoom out, and you're like, oh my God. Oh, holy shit.
Ends.
Oh, it never ends. And that was an hour after the speeches were already done.
It's like 1 million people.
It was fucking crazy. It was at least 200,000.
Like you said.
The production studio. And if we have lights on in here, let's see, right there. There we go. Well, the thing about InfoWars is nobody has one job. You have to be able to adapt very quickly to ever-changing situations. I answered a Craigslist ad. So everybody gets into InfoWars. I did an interview with a couple guys, and at one point they said, this is working for InfoWars, does that make a difference? They're like very kind of apologetic, and I said, oh, that's cool. And I'd already been listening. I knew who Alex Jones was, living in Austin, you see him all the time. You go out in the crowd. Alex Jones is the most popular person here today. He's the most popular. People know who I am, and I'm fucking behind the scenes. And it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And now that they've banned him and done all this stuff to him, it makes him even more prophetic. You know, you get up, you carry the ball 4 yards every day, you're gonna get moved down the field. And that's what he does.
Everything's a war. I mean, that's the way the universe works. There are competing forces that are trying to dominate, and everything is propaganda. The general public doesn't realize they're under attack by information, and so I want people to become aware of propaganda and how it operates in the info war. So we called ourselves really what it all is.
You guys know who he is? You know who Alex Jones is? InfoWars? Very popular.
Alex Jones is a fake.
He's a performance artist.
The Walter Cronkite of shrieking batshit gorilla clowns.
On his website, InfoWars, he touts what many would say are offensive claims.
Paranoia porn.
We're talking about somebody who traffics in some of the sickest, most offensive types of theories.
I'm perceived as a clown. I'm perceived as a nut. I'm perceived as a maniac.
Technocracy is dead on arrival.
I'm the most banned, most demonized media person in the world. But I've had tens of thousands of articles written, hundreds and hundreds of TV reports, every major national program you can name, every major publication. I don't feel sorry for myself being persecuted like this. This is what happens when you get successful and you're over the target. The Lord works in mysterious ways. They thought it would hurt me. All those jokes, all those attacks we've learned actually get the general public to actually tune into the main show. It's quite frankly pretty dark and pretty depressing.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
I've been really upset. I've been losing sleep. I've cracked 3 of my teeth in the last couple months with this election and what's happened since. I was at the dentist again today. I have to wear a mouth splint now, which I've never had to do because I'm so stressed out. I can't help it. I'm being robbed. I'm being assaulted. My family is, you are. We're all in this together. But I can see the evidence. I can see people waking up. And I can just see that no one's buying this. And the corporate media is only destroying themselves that much worse. I mean, there is a seismic shift now where, because I guess I'm well known, and again, I'm not bragging to the listeners, it's a bellwether. So they don't need to feel like they're alone. When I go out, even in liberal Austin now, to a dentist or to the grocery store or walk down the street or a restaurant, it's old people, young people, men, women, black, white, and they're like, we get it. It's true. Did you know this? I mean, there's a huge awakening.
I mean, it's true. InfoWars is in the zeitgeist, and we're very successful, and we have 4 or 5 times the audience we just had a year ago.
Now, that's some of the good news. I'm going to give you the really nasty news coming up. The forced inoculations, the checkpoints, the imploded economy.
What's that?
They also got some of their GMO puts this in your body and causes.
Yeah,
What's this?
that's the gut fertility.
Right. Well, is this the mRNA vaccine attacks proteins?
Yes, and it's the one it says it on the front of Pfizer. It's the Pfizer one.
It's the
BioNTech, which I think is the mRNA, yeah.
Holy fucking shit. Oh, yeah, that, of course. So it attacks the protein from the placenta.
And it attacks the protein that helps make the placenta.
These motherfuckers, man.
I mean, it's so reverse engineered. It's crazy.
Yeah, of course. Of course it's a fertility weapon.
Yeah.
So InfoWars is a family, and it's got its problems. It's got its idiosyncrasies, but it's very, very real. We're not playing games here. I'll just add this little caveat. This is how this works. Joe Biden's getting control of the Justice Department, and Jones, they're planning to indict you if you don't back down. I mean, that's the phone calls I get from, let's say, high-level people. They're telling them to tell me, we're going to indict you. Well, go ahead and indict me, you little chicken neck piece of trash. You think I'm scared of you? What's for some fraud you made up? You think America will buy that? How about you indict 100 million Americans? We're sick of your crap, and all you're doing is pushing us into a corner, you little chicken neck rats. The games are over.
So the attempts to deplatform us, the attempts to lie about us, the attempts to misrepresent us have failed. But to me, that's like I'm being delivered a steak and baked potato and a salad on the Titanic.
You haven't felt any repercussions in too long.
Same shit over and over again, man. Nice. But that's how this is. It's like Hitler turning into Russia. Like, you know it's going to be bad, but you know he's going to lose. I mean, it's just dumb shit, man. History is just the river where we jumped in before. And so now once you know that history, you recognize where you are way down the river where you're at. I've been in Austin since high school. I was born in a small town outside Dallas.
My parents were voracious readers. There were books everywhere. Reading comic books or science fiction books, which I first started out on at like 6, 7, 8 years old, was fun. But as soon as I was reading Julius Caesar, it was like, this is real. Like, this is what I want to know about. And so then I started reading all the history books around the house. It was everything from Plato to Nietzsche to Zbigniew Brzezinski. Didn't even know what it all meant, but I just couldn't quit looking at it. I got really stuck on World War II books, Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, Scherer, Heinz Hobel's Order of the Death's Head. I read the British Secret Wartime Report on the Mind of Adolf Hitler. I read that twice. It was all about secret societies and Hitler trying to take them over and British intelligence. And then I read Henry Kissinger, the writings of Mao Zedong, The Art of War. Time Life encyclopedias on the occult, or the Time Life encyclopedias on the Wild Wild West. I read them all, cover to cover. And then I found when I was about 12, None Dare Call a Conspiracy by Gary Allen. And I'd already read all this other material, so I knew it was pretty much accurate. My parents had a lot of interesting friends. My mom's brother was involved in a bunch of clandestine stuff down in Central and South America after Vietnam, and he would come sometimes to visit and tell them stories. I'd be sitting there at the dinner table. And my mom then had friends that were out from San Francisco that were involved in psychedelic research, and they would come talk about what the government was doing there, heard some of those stories. My dad had friends that were in the John Birch Society, so there was a background noise of them about the one world government and the cashless society and the plan to break up the family and all this. I mean, basically, I just grew up seeing a lot of stuff that was behind the scenes. Where I grew up outside Dallas was at that time the richest county in Texas. A lot of the powerful evangelicals that were on national TV lived in Rockwall because a bunch of their networks were based in Dallas. And so I would see like a famous preacher driving their cheesy Rolls Royces and stuff, you know, in the really big houses right on the lake. You'd see them on their back porch drinking tequila, snorting cocaine off prostitutes' breasts. And I'd be sitting there with binoculars when I'm like 12 years old watching that. We would go to different parties. You'd see the police pull up off duty, but in their uniform and come in and sell people drugs. And I've never really told these stories because it doesn't sound real, but it was real. When I was growing up in the 80s, I got to see the tail end of the fumes of kind of the indomitable, roughneck, tough guy Texas thing. And people were like that, and that's how they really were. Dallas was the kind of place where if you looked at somebody wrong, they'd jump out of their car and want to get in a fight. And so it was definitely extremely violent. Extremely violent. I saw people shot, I saw people stabbed, I saw people beat over the head with shovels. I saw huge car wrecks, drag racing, people on fire inside their cars. You imagine like a James Dean movie, but 20 times that. And so Dallas was crazy. I'd come home with 2 black eyes. My dad's not like a super macho guy, but he's old school. He said, you better learn to kick some ass then. I started, becoming very aggressive and fighting back. So then I kind of got proud of the fact that I was fighting. I got put in juvenile quite a few times. I was before judges because of the nature of the fights, people being in the hospital, people getting hurt really bad. At a certain point, my dad said, we've got to move out of this. We have to get out of this. And those were good experiences because it taught me not to be a victim. I mean, I never looked for trouble, but I guess I enjoyed it once it happened. And so I think going through conflict helped set me up for some of the things that were coming in the future.
Right this way.
Tell them, honk the horn. Watch, they're going to do it.
How they wanted to do it.
Don't have a horn on there, do they?
Hey. I bet they're fans. What have I told you that hiding in plain view in downtown Atlanta, Georgia, there is a giant Nazi symbol that wasn't just one of the main symbols of the Nazis, but it was also designed, hand-drawn by Adolf Hitler. Want to talk to us? Come on over. Good, sir. How you doing, man?
All right. What's going on up here?
Hitler designed that symbol.
Uh-huh.
So we were asking folks, should it be torn down?
Oh, for real? Y'all against Hitler?
I'm against Hitler.
Shit, it need to be torn down. Tear that shit down. I'm against all racism. I love all people.
I hear you, but we've taken that symbol, and now it's a symbol of world unity. So maybe we've expropriated. It's kind of like if a bad dude stole money and built a house, we don't burn the house down, we just take it over.
Right.
So why not just take it as our symbol?
Okay, and make it our symbol, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So y'all want to keep it up?
Well, I'm saying if we're going to tear down everything old in America just because some people might have not been good, I'm just saying, why don't we tear this down?
Right.
Which I don't want to do. I mean, look, I don't like Hitler, but that's a pretty good symbol. He was pretty good.
It is, yeah, it is.
I mean, the VW symbol, he came up with that, the VW.
Mm-hmm.
He invented the first Volkswagen, first highways, but we don't blow the highways up.
Blow the highways up. Damn sure still make Volkswagen.
Adolf Hitler, with a pen and ink, created this symbol. I swear to God, somebody pull it up on Google. Adolf Hitler and the Olympic symbol. Swear to God.
Hold on, let me show you. The Olympic symbol, Adolf Hitler created this symbol, you know what I mean? So we make a petition to tear down this right here, this downtown.
That's what I'm asking.
Or should we keep it up? Should we keep it up and just make it our symbol?
Well, Ollie Alexander, the national founder coordinator of Stop the Steal movement, is here. We've been all over the country together fighting. We've reached a critical juncture here in Georgia, but tell folks about what we're doing the next 4 days in a row at high noon.
So at high noon at the Georgia State Capitol, Alex Jones, myself, and other patriots are here, and we are marching, and we are telling the Secretary of State, stop, don't certify.
America is in great danger. I am here to warn you. I am Optimus Prime of Cybertron. President Trump is the rightful president of your nation. This is Optimus Prime. Here is telling you that the main enemy of your planet is now the agent of Megatron, Joe Biden. Megatron and the Chinese communists are behind Joe Biden. You must visit the website Infowars.com for critical data on the future of your planet. COVID-19 is an overblown hoax designed to destroy the economy. Research the Great Reset. Research the Great Reset. USA! 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 Must execute his duty and call a special emergency session. Massive evidence of fraud has been found in this county, has been found in other counties. They stole this election, and we're not letting them get away with it. All right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this woman's in front of us flipping us off. Look at this poor woman who doesn't know the Tricoms have taken over. She doesn't know America's fighting for its life. She thinks she's the resistance, but she's not. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Right here, right here. I don't know. Nobody go in armed. Everybody be very respectful. Nobody armed.
They got Christmas music playing. Look at this. This is like a psyop. They got Garland up with red bows.
Hey, you're giving America to Joe Biden. It's a Christmas present to him.
Y'all are pioneers, those of you guys who came. We're going to keep growing our numbers every day. We're expecting
You guys are the pioneers.
5,000 on Saturday. Yeah. If they sign that certification, we'll flood this place permanently. We'll all sit here. We'll sit here.
Well, here's the deal. If they're able to pull this fraud off, it's totally, yeah. If they're able to ever actually get him in there. They said Trump was a Russian agent with no evidence. Biden is a communist Chinese agent, 100% provable. He's done. So, we just, yeah, we're not planning to see this.
Alex, they certify, I'm sorry, I'm not trying not to do this. They certify the vote here, right?
Yeah.
We're inside. Let's not leave.
We're not crowd.
No, I'm being serious.
We're not the left. We're not going to democratize ideas.
That's how we can stop the certification.
Listen to me.
It's peaceful.
Listen
It's
to
peaceful.
me.
It's not a bad idea.
Listen to me.
What?
Listen.
Peaceful sit-in. That's what we'll call it.
Here we go. If the hillbillies make up all the ideas, then we're going to lose the country. So put aside your pride. Listen to me. We're going to stop the steal, but first we're going to stop the certification.
Well, it's not good to fight. It's okay to...
Yeah?
How are we going to do that?
Sorry, let's talk about it later. It's good.
Okay, I'm just talking out loud with ideas, man.
It's good, brother. I love it.
You know, sorry. I'm not trying to upset anybody, believe me.
No.
All right.
It's okay to have ideas. Everybody's fine.
Yeah. We'll pick the president, and I think then the Senate would pick the vice president. You think that could be a good thing or a bad thing?
And so I want to again thank y'all for being here. And you all know the consequences. That's why you're here. So when I look at Allie and I look at Alex and I look at all of you that are here, you just want your country to not write you a check with insufficient funds. That's all. You want them to guarantee what they say they're going to do. Equal voting. So we're not here. We're not terrorists. We're not here to fight anybody. We're not here to create havoc. But I know the media. If it bleeds, it leads. Well, and we know that. But what I'm just saying is, there were over 800,000 people there, which was a record in itself. Nobody's ever come out for a president like that ever.
I just want to. Love you, Alex. You guys are the first group, and the folks outside of the first group to get here. A lot more are coming from around the country, and we're demanding the legislature have that governor open a special session, because just since we started demonstrating, massive evidence of fraud all over the state of Georgia is coming out, and all the fraud is against Trump.
We have people working here, so if you can do this, just do that. I want to get loud too. Believe me, I want to get real loud. But these guys are always here. They make accommodations for us, so I want to respect them.
Yeah, thank you.
And I want to thank you all for coming out. God bless you, and God bless this republic.
Alex, stop. Hey, stop. Hey, stop. We're not leaving yet. I'm not going to let my kids
coming to Georgia. Thank you so much.
I'm not going back to old people and lawn chairs.
Let's kill over red lights. Good job, dude. This is more like a good job, guys.
No problem.
Better run here.
Yeah.
This ghost town.
Defeat this AC. Yeah.
The husk of our former civilization. Fucking assholes.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us in these very, very dark times. That is the bad news. The good news is humanity is awakening. Look at this one. New York Times says Great Reset is a conspiracy theory. On same day, World Economic Forum celebrates it. So that's always the tactic is, world government's good for you. We don't want it. Okay, it doesn't exist. And it goes on and on and on. Man dies after falling 10 feet from ladder. Doctors declare COVID-19 killed him. And now they're raiding medical doctors that speak out against the tyranny in Germany with SWAT teams. We have video of that, dramatic video coming up. Stay with us. We are live. Woke up in science fiction dystopia. Just like that.
Yeah, there it is. That is.
Bucket list, one more thing off the bucket list. I just pissed on Ted Turner. He's got 5 kids, but says you shouldn't be able to have any. But yes, I just peed on it. I peed on it. The
The land was purchased under the name. The land was purchased under a trust name of R.C. Christian. But locals report that it was Ted Turner, the founder of CNN, and others that came here in the late 1970s to plan the construction of these obelisks. Are these obelisks though?
I don't know what obelisks
I would say they're obelisks.
Well, obelisks usually, they can be both. Just, with the pointed obelisk, but... And now, let the people of the world hear the 10 Commandments from the United Nations and the globalist order. Maintain humanity under 500 billion in perpetual balance with nature. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion and faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. And finally, the 10th commandment. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. In other words, get out of the way. I'm Ted Turner. I'm having 5 children, dozens of houses, millions of acres, mistresses, jet airplanes, yachts, sailboats, jumbo jets, helicopters. You don't get anything. Roll over and die. I'm the Guardian. I'm Ted Turner. I'm Bill Gates. I'm the New World Order. You ready? Dumish, Madam, Chini, Yan, Million, Tano, Kungang, Na, Shao, Yang, Masing, Yao, Manba, Dunani, Impa, Manbule, Natfasa, Impa, Mandible, Natfasi. Yes. Kill me, I love you. I'm bad. Kill me, billionaire. It's all yours. Save the earth, Bill Gates. Ted Turner. Love you, Bill Gates. Their plan is called the Great Reset. Their manual of operations is Agenda 2030, a public UN plan in the name of world peace and stopping hunger that actually shuts down the world economy and will cause massive depopulation. This is the most dangerous, dark, satanic ideology to ever be on the face of this planet, and it must be opposed.
InfoWars, the most banned network in the world.
When I ended up moving down to Austin in the middle of high school to get away from all the trouble I was in Dallas, it was great because it was a lot more relaxed and laid-back culture. I didn't really get in any fights to speak of once I moved to Austin. It had all this beautiful canyons and streams and rivers and lakes, and that's it, just totally peaceful. I can tell you, it was a really cool town. And it was a real college town. It was very, very libertarian. And it was very, very classical liberal. And by that, I didn't know if I was a Republican or a Democrat because there were things I liked about both parties, things I disliked. But the average real liberal, like, knew about health food and was anti-war and was free speech and seemed really informed and cool. For a while, I went and had jobs, was dating a lot, and out of high school, wasn't really worried about doing media for a while, but I thought maybe I'll do media because I wanted to be on air, just to be able to talk. Then I was watching Access TV. There were like rock and roll shows, and a lot of Christian shows, a lot of old ladies doing exercise shows. It was everything. Like, we don't care what your speech is. Then I saw all these local conspiracy theorists that were talking about the New World Order and world government. And I thought, that's what I'll do.
We are descendants from Davy Crockett. This is myself and my wife. And if you go all the way over, my fourth great-grandfather was Nathan Crockett, which is the brother of Davy Crockett. And my fifth great-grandfather was the father of Davy Crockett. And I guess that's where I get my fight from. I love Selena. I love Selena. I love Elvis. I love Martin Luther King, too. I even love Alex Jones. Welcome to the underground bunker. Come on in. I met him back in 1990s down at Access TV, and I knew right away he was going to be a star. He had that quality.
Hi, I'm Alex Jones, the host of Exposing Mass Media, a show dedicated to showing you the lies and corruption that are being fed to us through our national media. It's on every Wednesday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on Channel 10. All we want is for you to be a free American and not to have to kneel on bended knee to the elites that are consistently more and more buying up this country and controlling it. How's that? We keep talking.
He was a local bus driver. He kind of did interview style shows. And so right away we started working together. But that's why I got to know Mike. I'd say for a good, 6, 7, 8 years, we were inseparable.
I think we probably did over 2,000 productions down there at Access TV. We figured out one time.
Now let me just say a couple of things about Bill Clinton. Beside the fact that he is an elitist, secret society scumbag who is working for the private interest.
Take your microphone where you can hear you better. Put it down a little bit further.
The private interest of international financiers.
I was producing for Jeff Davis, and then Alex came along and kind of outshined Jeff Davis.
And without any further ado, I want to welcome to the Jeff Davis program here tonight, Mr. Alex Jones. Alex Jones, welcome to the program, sir.
Appreciate that, Jeff.
And he took off like a rocket.
Jeff, if we were all ants and bees, this would work just fine. The problem is in one of these systems, corrupt individuals always foster this system so that they can have an excuse politically to control your destiny and your life. It's all about control. What can they get you to accept? And that's why I say long live the Constitution and death to the New World Order.
It is a deindustrialization plan, not by accident, not by folly. These people have the power because they're premeditated and they're evil.
Closing comment?
Yeah, guys, listen, I'm a maniac. I'm a maniac for freedom. It takes, what is a radical? Look in your dictionary. It's somebody that differs from the norm, the mainstay of society.
For 1 second, feel the human spirit and stop this dehumanization. It could be incredible.
He could draw a crowd even back then.
We say to tyranny in the United Nations.
Get it, Alex.
Death to the New World Order. Death the idea of losing our sovereignty. We don't like this flag, and we're sick and tired of it.
I mean, people knew in their hearts that he was telling the truth.
Drive off when I come over there. All I'm out here doing is standing up for the damn Constitution of this country.
Yeah, that's Alex Jones, baby. All right, we're talking about some serious issues today. We're talking about how they got us divided. It should not be front page news that Fuzzy Zeller said something racist, even though he's an old, fat racist. Who cares about an old, fat racist that says something about an awesome man, Asian African-American, who's worth probably $100 million? Who cares about words? We're Americans. We're all together in this boat.
At one time, Alex was on the radio and had 3 different shows going on Access TV. And then on top of it, we'd have rallies and he'd bullhorn for hours on end. I don't know how his voice held out all those years, but it did.
How's my hair look? Good. Is it blowing? Well, how's it look now? All right. We're here at the Alfred P. Murrah Building in Oklahoma City, the site of the April 19th, 1995 bombing. And there's a lot of questions a lot of unanswered questions, like why has the media ignored 2 seismograph reports from the University of Oklahoma and the U.S. Geological Survey that show 2 distinct explosion patterns? Why have they ignored the first preliminary reports of 2 explosions by people on the ground as witnesses? And I am not sitting here claiming to have the answers, but I know this: they don't want you to know something. They're keeping something from you. They've done it A to Z, from intimidation of witnesses to covering up evidence to destroying this crime scene. This is tyranny at work, one way or another. Either they're exploiting this terrible tragedy and our children that died, or they were actively engaged in it. Yes, the federal government, actively engaged in tyranny. That would be such a change from history for a government to be involved in that type of behavior, wouldn't it? No, it wouldn't be at all. Actually, that's the way history works. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
It wasn't very popular back then. You were out there as a conspiracy theorist. But Alex made it more popular because he was well-spoken and very professional. He was kind of like the Dan Rather of the conspiracy theory world.
You can follow people around, you can harass people, you can back up your bankster buddies. But a revolution of peaceful information's coming, and when it comes time, you people are going to be brought to punishment.
Cops and FBI agents, Congress people, and Alex held them to a higher standard than they ever thought they were going to be held to.
George W. Bush is an absolute front candidate. He'll probably be president in 2000. They're already pushing him across the nation. His father is CFR, Trilateral Commission, and Bilderberger has been linked to bringing drugs into this country. He was ex-head of the Central Intelligence Agency in the 70s. It just goes on and on.
1998 is going to be good for Texas, and that's the most important thing about the campaign.
Shouldn't we abolish the Federal Reserve and the CFR? That's the real reality that none of you will talk about, and most of you are members. That's what's destroying this country, Governor. Don't you stand for America, sir? What about the Federal Reserve and the CFR? You people are being lied to. This country's been taken over by Europe, and I'm being drug out. Laugh at it. So you're saying you're going to deny me the constitutional right to travel if I do not submit to this digital thumb scanning? Look, I feel like I'm being raped here. You're working with the foreign banks and the military-industrial complex. This is all their idea. Read the Military War College from 1968. This is reality, not conspiracy. It's not funny, Elshire. You are a liar. You're lying to the public. It's disgusting.
I knew back then was that attack on humanity that I saw early on that I really wanted to wage war on. And I knew people instinctively would rally to my cause. I knew once I got on that path, it was like everything was leading me towards that path.
We are going to win this fight.
Now you're where you're supposed to be. There's no going back from that. Once you taste that, once you hit that, there's no going back.
This is April 19, 1998, 5 years after the murder of children.
Under the blistering Texas sun, investigators comb the smoldering remains of the Branch Davidian compound. More than 80 people are believed to have died in yesterday's fiery conclusion to the 51-day siege, 24 of them children. Today, the FBI said it's not responsible for the deaths.
We were just reading the Aust-American Statesman. It never talks about the children. It talks about David Koresh being some sort of cult leader. They wanted to raise the American people's consciousness about cults and out-of-control organizations of this nature. So they surrounded the place, opened fire with helicopters, and then 51 days later set it on fire, sent hit teams inside, and murdered the people.
You know, like Sheila, she lost her whole family. She lost, I think, 4 children and her husband. That's Ophelia. The tank ran over her house in the back there.
After just a week of planning, dozens of volunteers from across the state gathered at Mount Carmel to build a church. It's a project that was started by Austin radio talk show host Alex Jones,
who started the project by recruiting people on air.
They received directions, head to ground zero.
We're going to rebuild it.
We're going to build this church back. I've talked to surviving Branch Davidians, and they concur with my idea to have it a church and at the same time a memorial and a museum for what happened right here on this very ground in 1993.
You were a damn kook if you took up for the Branch Davidians. know, we got a lot of threats over it. When we were rebuilding it, the Ku Klux Klan come down to Waco.
Good morning, Waco. We are the American Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. First and foremost, we'd like to thank the Waco police officers and staff for their guidance. We thank each and every one of you for being here to hear our message of love and hope.
And Alex and I and a bunch of other people went over and bullhorned them.
Yeah, the toothless white trash and those federal Gestapo controllers are not welcome here in Central Texas, where the real patriots reside.
And then that night they tried to come out and burn us out. Fortunately, a lot of the people that were helping us rebuild had guns and kind of ran them off. I think the feds were behind some of these Ku Klux Klan people.
There's always new federal lies that we are forced to counter here.
Texas talk radio personality Alex Jones has been crying murder and cover-up from day one of the Waco horror.
These are thugs who wanted to engage in terrorism against the American people. And I say their terrorism has failed, and this horrendous lie is starting to unravel.
I remember they called me in. I had like the #1 talk show in the ratings in Austin. They said, you're not going to criticize Bill Clinton anymore, and you're not going to talk about Waco. And I said, well, I don't talk about Waco that much. It's a memorial church. He goes, no, you do it, you're fired. And I said, well, I can't stop finishing this thing. I said I was. So they said, well, we're going to fire you. And they did fire me for that.
Broadcasting worldwide in defiance of tyranny. Only on air because of you. I'm Alex Jones, your host, and I'm blessed and honored to be here. This is 1776 stuff, boys and girls. This is total game time right now. This is the Super Bowl for the whole future. And if they get Biden in, they're never going to take their foot off our neck. We've got to resist this. A pandemic inauguration, because no one's going to be there for his inauguration, so, it's got to be all BS. We'll be in D.C. We don't care what your mayor says that we're not supposed to be there. Burn in hell. This is all America. We're coming this weekend, and we're coming on the inauguration one way or the other. We don't accept you. You're illegitimate. Like, you're pathetic. You must accept it. You didn't accept Trump with all your lies. You had not one stinking card in your dirty little globalist hands. But America was blind and thought we were invincible. America thought that we could never be defeated, and we were living on our laurels, living on our ancestors, and now we realize how much trouble we're in. That dragon's got its teeth on our leg. Well, that's okay. Let's politically just stop whining about it and just start taking our thumbs and poking the eyes out and punching it right in the nose. And just all of a sudden, you might notice you have the political strength to grab it by its ears and just tear its skull right open. But you've got to decide you're going to break its head open lovingly, peacefully, politically. And that means hitting the streets and spreading the word and just letting the globalists know you'll never surrender. They're all the sellouts. They're all the trash. They're all the garbage. You want to cancel Christmas? Never, you little degenerate pedophiles. You'll burn in hell.
Well, that's it. You kind of lose your mind during your climax. I mean, everything we've talked about is basically unfolding just as we said it would. I have a sick feeling, actually, because I know what comes next. It's not a feeling of satisfaction. It's actually extremely nauseating and disgusting and horrible to be right.
They've never met opposition, which is why they're openly pissing on our face and declaring China is our master. No! I will not be part of that, especially when it's an endless lockdown to impoverish everybody, you jerks. I pray God strikes you down, Xi Jinping, you maggot. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
The general public are like babies inside the womb. They don't even know what's going on in the outside world. They're like inside their mother. They have no idea what's going on. And meanwhile, there's these mad scientists trying to steal the future from them before they're even born. That's what it feels like. So I'm outside. I got outside the womb. And I'm not totally blind, and I'm powerless to stop them. Even though I can tell people what's coming next, it doesn't even matter. People just still, they can't deal with the magnitude of this. And I understand. It's like if I said, the next door neighbor's house is on fire. You can say, I don't believe you, or you can look out your window. If you look out your window and the house isn't on fire, then just disregard me. But it is on fire. Like the whole house is burned down. It's rubble right now. Hardcore, man. Hardcore. So Wikipedia says InfoWars started in 1999. It didn't. It started in 1997.
Police State 2000, the military and police training for gun confiscation, and the takeover of our constitutional republic. All the proof you need to wake up America. Police State 2, the takeover. They go from training to actually serving search warrants, running checkpoints on American highways, and integrating our society, completing its road, its path to slavery.
Paid the money with the money I was making off of selling VHS tapes and DVDs and things. I put that into a satellite feed and to reaching out to radio stations and buying ads in radio station publications. They picked me up. By 1999, I was at over 100 radio stations. During the heyday of talk radio, AM, FM, some of these are the biggest stations in the country. I mean, if I knew then what I knew now, oh man, there wouldn't even be globalism now. We would have beaten it. I mean, I literally was reaching tens of millions of people and not even knowing. I had no idea what we were doing.
Enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
No longer is the New World Order some foggy apparition over the next hill. The talk of extremists in the rural areas. Yes, the media's tried to make jokes of it. They've tried to create their little stereotypes. Now they openly speak of it in the Senate. You will have globalism. We will disarm the American people.
Alex is a syndicated talk show host from Austin, Texas. He broadcasts from his bedroom down an ISDN line to 8 million listeners. Alex believes that the shadowy elite at Bohemian Grove are the puppet masters who control the world's governments, banks, the media, and the United Nations.
It was the late 1990s, and John Ronson was going to do a TV show for Channel 4 titled Secret Rulers of the World. And he already had a contact inside Bohemian Grove, but he didn't want to have the liability of being sued if he got the footage. So he wanted me to get the footage.
I didn't know whether men like Henry Kissinger and George W. Bush really dress in robes and attend a secret owl-burning ceremony in the forests of Northern California, a ceremony said to be called the cremation of care. It was hard to believe, but Alex was intent on discovering the truth.
Ah, it's my redcoat friends. How you guys doing? Sorry we're late.
I mean, I didn't even know about the Bohemia Grove until I asked Alex to sneak in, and then, of course, I got roped into that too, so...
Well, you've got to go in, up the road that says no through road, because we've got to sit in the car and get a shot of you going up the road. So you've got to go in. You've got to be the guinea pig. But you're a brave man, Alex, aren't you?
No problem, man.
So that's cool. I wouldn't ask a man who wasn't as brave as you.
All right, it's no big deal.
As a final preparation, Alex and Mike practice being preppy by having appropriately preppy conversations.
We're just going to walk normally as we would, calmly, la la la. There's me guys sitting there, and we're fat cats, so let's go ahead. But seriously, David, as fast as microprocessors are starting to move, it's getting down to a molecular level. The question is, at what level will just the actual basics of science stop us from making these systems smaller? And it's the entire nanotechnology revolution that I find to be most dynamic.
I agree.
It was the night of July 15th, 2000.
Mike Hansen and I were about to attempt the first ever successful infiltration of the Bohemian Grove. Others have tried and failed. No one has ever actually made it in and out with video evidence.
Be careful, Mike. God bless.
Yeah, pray for us. Keep the evil off of us.
I had no idea what I was getting involved in. Not until I really got out of the car and figured out that I'm probably not going to make it out of here alive. So the first hour was really us just trying to hide out in the woods and stuff, so it really wasn't any good.
While we're inside the Bohemian Grove, we're actually not inside yet, Mike.
We said, well, we've got to figure out how we're going to get the ceremony. So Alex cut a hole in the bag and stuck the camera in the bag.
We were smart enough once, we got questioned twice, to go basically hide under a deck of one of the clubhouses. That was pretty good looking still then. Mike was not bad looking. We had guys try to slap us on the ass, pinch our butts, yell at us, hey baby, come on over here. It's kind of like Pepe Le Pew chasing the cat around, but they're Pepe Le Pew and I'm the cat. And again, this is mainly the Christian conservatives that go to this. Once it started getting dark, we were able to go get into the main crowd.
I handed the bag to Alex, and we went into the ceremony.
And at first I'm like, this is overblown. This is just like a Faustian type play.
And that's when Alex was getting it with the bag like that, whipping it around and doing all that. Whispered to him, I said, Alex, that's just too obvious what you're doing. But nobody seemed to notice it.
Across the small lake, we saw a carriage with men in black robes bearing a bound body. Remember, it was a hidden camera and at somewhat of an angle.
But it was being there in the dark when the lights would flare up, seeing the faces of the men, and they were really into this. And I'm like, oh, this is quite interesting. They're like, shut up, this is a very important ritual.
Year after year, he burned me in this grove, lifting your puny shouts of triumph to the stars. But when again, he turned your faces to the marketplace, do ye not find me waiting as of old? Fools!
In it, they are all collectively putting their bad mojo, their bad karma from the hedge funds and the wars and all the corruption they're doing onto this effigy of a child. And they burn it, and the child screams in pain. And so it's captured basically like a genie in a lamp, and then it's cast out.
Begone, don't care. Fire shall have its will of thee. Begone, don't care. And all the winds, make merry with thy dust. Hail fellowship's eternal flame. Once again, midsummer sets us free.
But you're sitting there for an hour going, God, these people are psychotics. You're like, well, it's not just this guy, it's that guy, it's this guy. And that's the corporate leaders.
This is the shirt I snuck into Bohemia Grove with. See, that's the same shirt. And that's the shoes that I snuck into Bohemia Grove with. That was the day after. I was scared to death. I mean, I can talk about it now and laugh about it, but, you know, back then I thought they were going to come after us and kill us, which, you know, they could have.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad that you could join us today for this Wednesday, July 25th, 2001 broadcast. Tyranny is enveloping the globe, and the United States is a shining jewel the globalists want to bring down, and they will use terrorism as the pretext to get it done. If any terrorism comes, it's from this government. And if there was an outside threat like a bin Laden, who was a known CIA asset in the 80s, running the Mujahideen war, and whose family builds all the military bases over in Saudi Arabia right now, he's the boogeyman they need in this Orwellian phony system. know the government's planning terrorism. We know Oklahoma City was terrorism. We know the Joint Chiefs of Staff wanted to blow up airliners. If you do it, we're going to blame you because we know who's up to it. Or if you let some terrorist group do it, like the World Trade Center, we know who to blame.
I put out the White House number, and I said, call the White House, tell them don't blow up the World Trade Center, and blame it on Osama bin Laden.
And I won't want you to believe Alex Jones. I want you to go get these news stories off my website. I want you to call these major newspapers. I want you to find out these statements were true.
Here's bin Laden. He's going to attack you. When he attacks you, you give up your rights. And I saw that in the newspaper. I saw it on TV. It was a talking point. They were rolling it out. On 9/11, 2001, I was in the shower. I'd just gotten up, and my then wife at the time came in and said, hey, a plane just hit one of the World Trade Center towers. She had it on the television in the living room, and I walked out and I saw it, and I said, this is going to be terrorism. And I went in there and went on air and punched up the computer and started covering it all in live time.
At 8:50 a.m. EDT, plane hits World Trade Center. 9:20, FBI says at least one plane hijacked. 9:30 Eastern, second jet crashes into World Trade Center. Both columns, both buildings with 50,000 plus people in them have collapsed in the last hour. It was almost like they were giving them time to evacuate. Again, degreed in the structural engineer area, you're saying it was the most beautiful implosion you've ever seen, and of some of the biggest buildings in the world.
Absolutely. It was perfectly engineered as far as the way it came down.
Here to give us the Hollywood perspective is my good buddy who knows all about the globalists, Joe Rogan. Joe, you know I was predicting this, telling you all about it.
Well, you know, you do predict that the government is doing these things, but I mean, you don't believe that there's people in other countries that hate us? You have this thing in your mind that there's a grand scheme and a grand plan. But what do you think they're trying to accomplish with it?
Why did Hitler burn the Reichstag? He'd been elected chancellor. He wanted to abolish the presidency and become Fuhrer.
Okay. I see where you're going with this, but look,
but it's
blaming anybody for anything without any evidence is pretty much just, it's irresponsible speculation.
9/11 happened, and I said, hey, there's anomalies. The government stood down. They're working on radical Islam. They're using this to attack Iraq. Iraq didn't do this. I mean, you talk about being rejected. I went from over 120 stations down to like 35 stations. And to me, it didn't mean anything because 9/11 was an event that definitely needed to be questioned.
This police state media that puts cancer viruses in your children's vaccines, that feeds them Ritalin and Prozac. BBC now reports twice as strong as cocaine. That puts toxins in the water supply, is telling you that a bunch of people that live in mud huts are your enemy. And morons called our comment line, the vast minority, and said, how dare you be anti-American? We'll kill you.
That was conservatives, that was Christians, that was nationalists saying, oh, you're with radical Islam, you're a piece of crap. No, I'm not saying radical Islam doesn't exist. I'm actually against it. I'm just saying there was something bigger here.
But you know what? It's going to feel so good to nuke Iraq, isn't it?
Of course, you have the motive of launching all these big wars and rolling out and legitimizing the giant NSA surveillance state that's now become just an everyday thing that we, I guess, accept.
You're all working for the great Satan. And I've got the evidence. You're all connected. You start looking at it. God, it's just sick.
Hey guys, Merry Christmas! You know, President Donald Trump, let's let him hear us. Let's show how many people are out here. More years! More years! More years!
That's that guy Harrison I was telling you about.
Oh. Fight for Trump!
We need y'all to keep walking, bro.
China sucks.
Love you!
Yeah. Oh, this is so awesome.
Yeah!
Go! Hey, folks! We're going to the Capitol. There's a big rally down there. A big rally on the mall. We love you, Alex Jones! Alex Jones! Hell yeah! There he is! What up, brothers? is over at the National Mall with General Flynn and myself, Alex Jones. I'm going to get this round. We're going to march back over. Follow me. I'm going to go get that crowd. We're going to turn around. The General Flynn's giving the speech. The big speech is on the mall. So let's rally the troops. Let's march over there.
We love you, Alex. You're amazing. You've woken up tens of millions of people worldwide, and you keep waking up more and more every minute.
We are marching to the mall. We are marching right now. Come with us as we take action and overthrow the globalists and not let the Chicos take over this country. Just like we expected them to. If you ever for 1 second thought that Amy Coney Barrett was going to fight for you, sadly you were mistaken. But we the people are here, and we will be the revolution. It was always all revolution. It was never the Supreme Court's revolution. If they don't want to be a part of it, then they'll be on the trash heap of history, and we'll make the history.
Alex Jones, good to see you, man. Thanks for being nice to my son. Ben's good guy. Check out. Crazy day, huh? This is crazy. I'm scared. We're gonna win. What? I mean, you scared? Take one here. That's funny, man. I mean, when you've been raked over the coals by the media, like I've been raked over the coals by the media, like my mom said, sticks and stones can break my bones, but names will never hurt me. and I will tell you, and I've said this before, the media is doing an incredible disservice to this country. That's pretty cool. Yes, I mean, that's pretty cool. You know, the guy. Imagine being able to just jump in a helicopter, go for a joyride around Washington, D.C. I love it. I love the fact that he does that. I've been asked, on a scale of 1 to 10, who will be the next president of the United States? And I say, Donald Trump, 10, a 10.
Hey, Alex. This is Trish from Michigan.
That's
cool.
Hey,
I want a picture. This is Trish from Michigan. Yeah, I do. See that? And when I was making a comment about John the Baptist, you're more runner for what's coming.
I feel like
We're
that.
preparing the way. I'm so thankful for you, Alex. My mother-in-law's going to be jealous.
Jesus brings life and life more abundantly! Lord, we give you all glory! We give you all honor! We
Folks, in the spirit of unity, I'd like to bring out my new friend, Alex Jones, is it?
You look at the miserable globalist, you look at people like Bill Gates, and you look at people like Mark Zuckerberg and the rest of them. They are miserable slaves of Satan, and we pray for them and hope that the Holy Spirit can still touch their soul. But more importantly, we pray for President Donald John Trump in this incredibly serious moment. And we know that it's all in God's plan, and the Lord works in mysterious ways. The enemy wants to keep the whorehouses open, and the liquor stores open, and the Walmarts open, and the Targets and the Amazons, while they tell you the churches are not essential. But we will never give up. We will never surrender. We will never back down to the satanic, pedophile, globalist, New World Order and their walking dead, reanimated corpse, Joe Biden. So I don't know who's going to the White House in 38 days, but I sure know this. Joe Biden is a globalist, and Joe Biden will be removed one way or another.
It worked. So when I get off the air, I'll call you, okay? I love you.
Oh, he's got a pen.
Thanks.
Plug that in. You need it tighter?
That's perfect. Perfect. All right, tell them send me some audio, guys. My friends, my fellow Americans, my fellow humans watching me on this December 11th global transmission. I am here literally just a tenth of a mile from the Capitol, where they're building the second inaugural platform. We do our research. We know what we're talking about. That's why we are the enemy of the globalists. That's why they hate us. That's why I'm number 2 on the hit list after Trump, according to Trump's lawyers that have told me that directly. This is Trump's personal lawyer. You have to understand, this is a communist globalist takeover. George Orwell, he says, Winston, you know the vision of the future is this boot stomping on the human face forever. Because we don't want a more beautiful culture. We don't want to live longer. We don't want to be more empowered. We don't want more beauty. We want more ugliness, more trampling, more being trampled upon. You look at how I'm falling apart, Winston, how I look old, how I look worn out. That's the strength of the vigor of the system that will destroy humanity. We serve a spirit that is of the priest of power, here to oversee the annihilation of humans on this earth. Do you understand, Winston? You cannot defeat us, and I will break you, and I will make you a sub-slave before I kill you. But first, I'm going to make you sit for a year at the Chestnut Cafe or whatever it was and drink synthetic gin and watch propaganda and love it and embrace it in worship before we blow your head off. And Winston says, please do it. And O'Brien says, not until you're completely broken. Once you're totally destroyed, I will kill you. That's how this works. And that's why they lie to you out in the open. I've studied the globalists. I've unfortunately rubbed shoulders with them and had them try to get me to join them. And they don't laugh when I've talked about this with them. They say, join us, Alex. You need to go into the future. You need to save yourself and your family. You need to come with us.
USA!
we're going to leave it at that. Thanks very much. We'll be back outside Madison Square Garden in a few minutes.
And Susan, of course, the floor is empty, but they're here, and lest we be accused of not hearing all voices, we cut you off a moment ago. This is Alex Jones from Austin, Texas, a radio talk show host.
Yes, sir, with Infowars.com. Both candidates are cousins. They're skull and bones. They're bringing in big government and tyranny. The evidence is clear. The military-industrial complex was intimately involved in 9/11. The commission is a complete fraud. We're losing our freedoms. Both parties are controlled, and if we don't wake up and stand up and speak out, this country's going to be destroyed. Giving up liberty only gives us tyranny. It does not give us security, and I hope that everybody out there wakes up to this and realizes that America is America because we have the Bill of Rights and Constitution. Everybody should investigate 9/11 and find out who's really behind it. It's Bush's and the New World Order's Reichstag, and his cousin Kerry isn't going to save you either. Thank you, PrisonPlanet.com.
Alex Jones.
They always say the same thing. You want to be on this crusade that's going nowhere, or do you want to be a star? Fox News offered me multiple jobs, asked me to move to Manhattan. They were looking for somebody that's the next Rush Limbaugh. And we'll have editorial control. You'll get multiple book deals a year. You'll have a national TV show. And we just want to do this. And then when I refused Fox News, right before Glenn Beck was picked and appeared, they would have articles saying Jones wants to be on Fox News, but Fox News doesn't want him.
Start challenging this corporate slave state. The 21st century is going to be a new century. Not the century of slavery, not the century of lies and issues of no significance and classism and statism and all the rest of the modes of control. It's going to be the age of humankind standing up for something pure and something right. What a bunch of garbage, liberal, Democrat, conservative, Republican. It's all there to control you, two sides of the same coin. We're going to get fired up about the real things, the things that matter, creativity and the dynamic human spirit that refuses to submit.
I didn't really care about Hollywood. My goal wasn't to be in movies. My goal wasn't to be embraced by all that.
Ladies and gentlemen, 9/11 is an inside job. It's a self-inflicted war. It's a government false flag. Terror operation. Research it. Poor people are waking up every single day.
You had some interesting comments. You were on a radio show and you talked about 9/11, and you have, is it a theory or you just don't believe the government account of what happened on 9/11?
I just had questions.
Yeah?
I had a lot of questions. And the forum I chose to voice those questions in is the Alex Jones radio show.
Mm-hmm.
And just because he's a guy that I've been a fan of and followed for a lot of years, so you know. And they said, oh, he's another tinfoil hat wearing Hollywood clown, you know.
Charlie Sheen was the only guy that was crazy enough to be seen in public with me or talk to me. But I went to some parties and stuff with some of the biggest Hollywood stars, and I left. This feels creepy. It feels empty. I've never felt this weak. There was a feeling like a big spider sucking my soul.
Torture, secret arrest, America turning into a police state.
If there is a Satan, and it's truly on this planet, it resides on the West Coast, in between Silicon Valley and Los Angeles. That's the most evil place in the world I've been.
Well, I know you appreciate my son, George Bush, but we sure as hell don't. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the belly of the beast, crashing through the lies and disinformation. No compromise. One day closer to victory. It's Joe Rogan, baby. Oh, shit, I broke the mask.
Yeah. Central Texas, the Capitol Wars, spires of the Dark Lord, their vision to make us fall. It's the belly of the beast, heart of the empire, Bush Imperium, thrall, endless darkness. It's the belly of the beast, truth with no compromise. Live from Austin, Texas, strap yourselves in. It's the belly of the beast.
I think it's fair to say that the liberals liked me or also thought it was kind of a joke. And so, yeah, it was more like, oh, yeah, that's just a crazy guy in Austin. All they saw was I was against Bush. And then Obama came in and it go, yeah, but you're attacking Obama now.
Well, we're going to give Barack Obama's controllers what they want. That little narcissist
is nothing but a slick Harvard lawyer reading off a teleprompter written by the best speech writers in the country, how to scam you, how to bamboozle you, how to defraud you of your future. And you love it. You cheer them all the way, just like you Republicans cheered George W. Bush.
There is no military solution in Iraq, and there never was. I will begin to remove our troops from Iraq immediately.
As soon as he got in, he began to reverse everything he said he would do.
All my problems are solved. My bills, my children's future, my health care. It's incredible. Everything is fixed. Oh, Obama. Oh, God, I love him. We happen to have the bill, you lying bastard. You lied about not hiring lobbyists. You lied about the wars. You lied about loopholes and taxes and torture and warrantless wiretapping and the Patriot Act.
I knew that Obama was a globalist, and I knew that he was going to try to get in and actually create the vision, because that's what the New World Order wants, divide and conquer, instead of unity.
But here's the deal. This is not a sacred image. I've got every right to destroy the image of the so-called emperor, and I'll do it anytime I please. You understand that, you scumbag New World Order filth?
Conservatives have been going after Obama from kind of a stale mainline Republican angle for being some communist, liberal, Chicago community organizer. And so I really went after him with a more populist libertarian angle, and InfoWars really exploded.
Obama czars are saying, you have to be vetted. We have to decide, or we're going to put messages up on your website, government pop-ups that say stuff isn't true or that directs you to government or other media. Of course, that was in the news last week. We're kicking their hind ends. They are going to try this. So I won't be able to be on the air. So this is just simply the private corporate takeover of the internet merging with the government.
Parties come and go and presidents come and go, but these bureaucrats are basically stay-behind networks that continue on to make sure the mission of bringing in a planetary world government takes place.
I mean, I'm not even worthy to be bringing you information this powerful, and I hope that you pay attention to what we cover here minute by minute, because I've had chills since last night. This just confirms everything else we've already researched. But Rockefeller study envisions future dictatorship controlled by elite, millions being killed, mandatory quarantines, checkpoints, the end of the family, forced vaccines, and the hell we're already living in that's just going to continue to intensify.
Once world government is in place, no one will be able to stop the New World Order's plans for global population reduction. No method is off the table. These dark builders intend to release a string of man-made bioweapons plagues, each one worse than the last. While all the elite enjoy the land of the earth, evolve into superhumans with the aid of advanced implantable technologies, live eternal lives, and travel throughout the cosmos.
I made the film Endgame in 2007. You're living in the real endgame. Here's my movie about global government, technocracy, using the threat of plagues to actually launch real plagues. They took it down off of Amazon. And they said it's racist. Briefly, it is the last day to get Christmas specials with the free shipping and the up to 60% off DNA Force Plus. Read the thousands of 5-star reviews. There is Winter Sun, 4.9 stars, 97%. The left didn't believe those reviews were real. They had the FBI investigate. Jones has fake reviews on his site. Meanwhile, the borders are wide open. North Korea's got death camps. Child molesters are running rampant. But don't worry, the FBI is investigating if our power reviews are real. That's right. They are real. Burn in hell, New World Order.
Oh, it's all sweet. It's all good because they want the future. They want the life extension technologies. They want the control. And so they've used all that psychology and all their trillions to pay an army of disinfo operatives to just keep us blocked and confused and dumbed down long enough so we don't figure out they just stole the whole future from us.
In the year 2023, COVID-22 has been released, and no one's allowed to go outside, and tens of millions are dead who were shot and killed for leaving their houses. They're going 0 to 1 trillion miles an hour. We went into warp. We're in warp right now. I mean, 1 year will be like 100 years now.
And that's where my study of history and religions and science ends, because whatever it is they're tuned into is beyond my knowledge.
Now, I'm smart. I'm not bragging. I'm smart. I'm going to become more successful in this climate because I was pre-positioned for it. The globalists run the operation. They're really going to do good. But for the average person, it's over. Your college degrees are worthless. You're already being poisoned to death by the GMO, the 5G, and now the mRNA mutagens.
I'm so past the politics and all the names and all the stuff. It doesn't even matter anymore. I'm just guilty because I've not raised my kids perfectly, and I'm like really freaked out by all this, and just trying to have a relationship with God so that my spirit gets out of this when I die. I mean, I really, that's all I think about now. And I want to get out of this now, and God says, I'm not allowed to, so. So that's it. It's bad, though. It's going to get real bad. Like, you realize, like, all this is not going to be here soon. I told my son 3 years ago, I said, you're getting out of high school in a couple of years. There's not going to be a college for you, son. It's all going to be shut down. It's all going to be over. And now he listens to me, finally. He's like, yeah, how'd you know? It's all done. It's all over. It's all over.
No reason to get black-pilled. A lot of people just get so negative, they turn off. No, we're going through this process. We're being tested. Yes, it's negative, but it's good to discover it, fight back against it. That's the process. But it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
Anyone who's watched this show over the past few weeks knows I've taken a pretty strong stand on guns in America. It's not escaped the notice of supporters of gun rights, and it's led to a petition on the White House official website, no less. It's entitled, and I quote, "Deport British citizen Piers Morgan for attacking Second Amendment." Take a look. More than 104,000 people have signed it so far. And joining me now is one of the people behind the petition, Alex Jones. He's host of the Alex Jones Show.
Pierce, don't try what your ancestors did before. Why don't you come to America? I'll take you out shooting. You can become an American and join the Republic. Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand? If I was trying to look back at a time when I was golden, by the end of Obama, liberals got disenfranchised. They realized they'd been lied to.
There is not one email to you or from you in 2012 when an explosive device went off at our compound in April.
I'm telling you, she is a demon. She's a freaking demon, and she stinks, and so does Obama. I go like, what? Sulfur.
Look, we came, we saw, he died.
And then Trump announces he's a joke to the media. Okay, he's not going to win the nomination. He does.
We saw.
I don't trust Donald Trump as far as I can throw an elephant. That said, I agree with probably 95% of what Donald Trump says.
Your reputation's amazing. I will not let you down.
I was reading the other day, there's a guy on the radio who apparently Trump's on his show frequently. He said, me and Hillary are demons. Said we smell like sulfur. Ain't that something? And apparently there are people who believe that stuff.
You know, I am sick and tired of the negative, dark, divisive, dangerous vision and behavior of people who support Donald Trump.
Were you inspired by Infowars.com? Infowars sent you out here? Are they going to pay $5,000 for you?
I don't want any money. I just want the truth.
What's the truth?
The truth is Hillary's a liar.
Hillary for president! Hillary for president! Hillary for president! Hillary for president!
What's coming by? Hillary for president! There it is, folks. The Hillary for President banner.
Trump tapped into the same populist anger, the same populist concern that I've been tapped into.
The whole takeover failed, didn't it? And now, who gets to talk to the president? Who gets to talk to the Supreme Court justices? Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. He was a nice guy, actually. You like him?
That's when the media took the gloves off and went from twisting stuff sometimes more playful, like I was a joke, to like every newspaper runs an AP article. Every newspaper runs a New York Times article. By every paper, I mean thousands. Saying Alex Jones is Trump's brain. Alex Jones runs Trump. That was not Trump's brain. Give me a break.
The radio host, Alex Jones, who claims that 9/11 and the Oklahoma City bombings were inside jobs.
The Democrats literally took me, and I went from being 5 feet tall to 1,000 feet tall. And by the day of the election, we had 86 million independent IP addresses on InfoWars and on our stream. I mean, that's Super Bowl level.
Alex Jones made Trump. Whether anybody wants to believe that or not, the only reason that man is in office is because of Alex Jones.
The spirit of America, can you feel it rising? Trump feels it, he knows it, he loves it. Trump's real crime was trying to actually be the president and coming in and not letting special interests run things. And that enraged the permanent bureaucracy that we know of as the deep state. The people are so awake. I mean, I'm not kidding. Every second person I walk by is a listener.
When they saw that, they're like, oh, he's just not the crazy guy on the internet. Now we have to go back and see, oh, where did he fuck up that we could go get him at?
Now we got to destroy Alex Jones.
Man, I'm really upset. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm totally freaked out. And I told you this last week before the shooting. I just love my children so much. And I love my children so much and their innocence. I love other people's children. And I know what everybody's thinking and saying who's got children. That's why the globalists use the murder of children to control us. We've got instincts that God gave us, ladies and gentlemen, and my instincts are just going off like bloody murder right now. Bloody murder, okay? And it isn't just these 20 kids. And, you know, I try to hold back. My gut tells me the White House, people controlling the governments were involved in this. That's what my gut tells me. And it's not even the gut, it's the heart. People call it the gut. It's right here in my heart. I know things. I feel things.
Is making up a heinous lie about tragic deaths something you can be sued for, or is it covered by freedom of speech?
For years on his radio show, Alex Jones said the Sandy Hook shooting, which claimed the lives of 20 children and 6 adults, was fake.
Don't ever think the globalists that have hijacked this country wouldn't stage something like this. They kill little kids all day, every day. I mean, they're doing it. They're doing it.
The families are suing Jones after they say he made false claims about the shooting.
2 separate lawsuits detail the pain and mental anguish Neil Heslin, Leonard Posner, and Veronique De La Rosa say they're going through.
In the lawsuit, De La Rosa and Posner say Jones's comments have caused them a severe degree of mental stress and anguish, which have disrupted their daily routine and caused a high degree of psychological pain.
I want an apology. I want my name cleared by him, and not just to his followers, to society in general. And, you know, the claims that it did not happen, I want him to admit to it and come clean on his lies.
I am not the Sandy Hook man. I always question big events when they first happen. The internet was questioning many anomalies of Sandy Hook, some of which turned out to not be real anomalies, some of which were still unsolved anomalies.
It is Tuesday, December 18th, 2012, and here's a little look at some of our top headlines.
Connecticut police say they will prosecute anyone spreading information about the Sandy Hook shooting that has not been approved by the so-called authorities.
The official story of Sandy Hook has more holes in it than Swiss cheese. I've since learned that those anomalies weren't right. I've said that I thought Sandy Hook happened, and I apologize. And I invite the families on the show. Why does Alex Jones say my child didn't die when I'm not saying that? The media continues to misrepresent what I've said. And the next day, Alex Jones says nothing happened again, and Alex Jones is attacking the families.
It took me about a year with Sandy Hook to come to grips with the fact that the whole thing was fake.
I already apologized 5-6 years ago. I probably apologized 20 or more times on air.
That is disgusting, and it should be disqualifying in terms of ever taking him seriously.
He's a despicable human being.
And so it's like a cat getting caught in the axle of a car was going on the road. They're not going to let it go.
Just this month, a Florida woman was sentenced to 5 months in prison for sending death threats to a Sandy Hook parent. Her defense attorney says she was primarily motivated by InfoWars.
He may be America's best-known conspiracy theorist, but this week, Alex Jones's content will be a little harder to find. That's because iTunes, Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube all removed his audio and video material from their platforms.
Twitter gives Alex Jones the boot.
Calling them, quote, a dangerous individual.
It's not enough to deplatform me and take me off 60-plus systems so I can then be demonized and lied about and can't respond. It's about silencing everybody else.
I think he's the test case. I think that if they are successful in muzzling Alex Jones, then it's only a matter before patriots are subject to the same treatment. I think this is a test.
I don't try to make mistakes on purpose. I'm not trying to lie to people. I try to tell the truth, and sometimes I'm wrong. Did the New York Times get in trouble? Did their writers get in trouble for consciously lying about WMDs that then led to a war that starved millions of people to death and killed tens of thousands in conflict? No.
We are on the record for the videotape deposition of Alex Jones, taken on Thursday, March 14th, 2019. The time is approximately 12:02 p.m. Will the court reporter please swear in the witness?
Please raise your right hand, please. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
So Sandy Hook is a synthetic, completely fake, with actors, in my view, manufactured. I couldn't believe it at first. I knew they had actors there, clearly, but I thought they killed some real kids. And it just shows how bold they are, that they clearly used actors.
Mistake or not mistake, Anderson Cooper was in front of a blue screen.
The only reason I would say it's not 100% because somebody asked him if he was there and he denied being at the funeral.
You know that's not true.
So, no, there's video of it. There's video of a guy asking him during a taping of a show. He said, "Hey, were you at the funeral?" And he goes, "No, I wasn't."
Right, he wasn't at and inside the funeral.
Recently, your lawyer said, in a legal document, there is no dispute that the Sandy Hook tragedy was real, with tragic loss of life. You stand by that? That's what you admit is true now?
Yes.
Okay.
You understand that an expert who has decades of service in the FBI in video forensics determined that that was not a blue screen, but was simply video compression. Did you know that?
I've heard people say stuff. You know, the FBI also said they put up photos of two guys who supposedly bombed the Boston marathon and said they didn't know who they were when they'd interviewed them. So the FBI lies a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't trust the FBI?
I don't really trust much in the government.
On your show, you showed maps and addresses used by a parent who complained because in your mind, he was running an anti-free speech foundation, right?
I did not show that footage.
What do you mean you didn't show it? Aren't you you run InfoWars, right?
We showed, I think, a U-Haul empty parking lot to debunk a thing that the guy has using a false address. We said that's normal to use an address when you're a public figure. I remember, like, when you said that, I remember going and trying to find it, and I was like, this is us saying it's a parking lot and a U-Haul. We're not showing what this guy's house is.
Yeah, that's where he picks up his mail. It's a U-Haul store. You can get a post office box there, right?
But you said we were sending people to their houses and stuff. That wasn't true.
I've certainly never said that.
Well, that's what they were saying. That's what the media was saying.
All I'm asking you...
Never sent anybody to their houses, never done that, ever said people need to harass them. That's not true. They have just taken me and created this character, the straw man. They own this creature. So it doesn't matter what Alex Jones really does. They now have created this Alex Jones, and then they get to do what they want with that. So it's how they steal your identity. You're trash. Hey, come tell me on camera. Come here, coward. Come here, coward. Right here on camera. Right here. Tell people intellectually who you are.
Intellectually who I am?
Go ahead, yeah.
I'm your mama.
Yeah, can't even talk. Look at you. This is what they've turned the people into. This is it right here. Literal slave of the system. See that? That's who they are. Look at this slave. That was great. Come on, hit me. Go ahead. I know. This is the brainwashing. You see? And I'm proud of this because this is who they are. I've deliberately. That's why they're allied with jihadis, because they hate the West so much. They hate the West so much. They hate the prosperity, because if you look at that guy, he was physically grotesque. He was physically soul-sucked. He was physically empty. And that's why we have to come out here and show people what's going on, because these people are bots. They're in a cult. How you doing? I have people walk to me on the street every few weeks and say, hey man, why don't you leave those kids alone? Why don't you stop saying Sandy Hook didn't happen? Come on over here. No, you flipped me off. Come on, coward. No. Come on. You're not an intellectual. You're a fake and a fraud.
But I want to ask you, now looking back on this, are you sorry?
You know, I did all this from a good place in my heart, and I'm really sad the establishment has lied so much and done so much that the public doesn't believe what they're told anymore. There's been a real loss of confidence in the system, you know, everything I've done has been from a place of really trying to get people to think and trying to find out the truth. And I've certainly been wrong about things, and you know, but it came from a place of really trying to do my best job. And so I'm overall proud of getting the public to be skeptical and getting people to think for themselves. And
let me get this straight. These videos we just watched today, you're proud of those videos?
I'm proud of the compendium of my work, not small clips taken out of context. And I'm a good person. There was a point in my life, probably turned the corner about 7-8 years ago, where I'd seen so many lies, it was easier mentally to become radicalized and just say, everything's a lie.
Is that what you want to be remembered for?
I don't think we're going to be remembered for Sandy Hook.
What do you think you're going to be remembered for?
I know that's what you want. I know that.
So, okay, let's put me in prison for questioning, okay, even though that's my right. In fact, let's execute Alex Jones. Let's put me in front of a firing squad and pull the trigger. System, the company store, the paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderous scum. They're on giant death factories keeping babies alive. You're selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy, weird, sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy, weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just ate.
Check.
Obama and Hillary.
This is the shot you want. I didn't need 3 salads, Jesus.
All right, we've had a long break. Let's tighten it up. Christmas is over, fuckers.
It's my life in the box in front of me. Take it off in my arms, it's the soul of me. You walk by, ask to see me lay face down.
This is the InfoWars War Room, brought to you by InfoWarsStore.com, streaming live at band.video and theresistance.video. If you're confused, you tune in not every day, but every once in a while you say, why is he always saying a new link that he's live streaming at the end of his opening statement? Well, because we get banned everywhere, and then we have to create our own websites, and then they ban those URLs when you share it. So we have to create new URLs that lead you to the same websites, the same streams, but this is how we play whack-a-mole with, of course, the corrupt globalist technocrats. You know, what COVID has done, this fake pandemic, what it has done, not the virus hasn't really done all that much. No, what our response to this has done is, I'm really not sure how we ever come back from this, quite frankly. The damage and division it's done to families, the damage and division it's done to just people's normal day-to-day interactions, the damage that it's done to people's psyches. I'm just stunned.
It is December 30th. The year is 2020, and we are 21 days out from the inauguration of the Chinese Communist agent. I am Alex Jones, your host. I can tell you, my friends, this January 6th in D.C. has got the establishment scared. They've had the CIA, the FBI following me around for over a month. They've been following other people around. They've had people reach out to us. They come and visited us and just said, please be careful in D.C. Please be careful at these rallies. Please don't incite anyone. Please, it's so dangerous. We're so concerned. They had a big ABC Nightly News anchor, I'll leave it at that, say one of their big people, call me up and say, we're so scared, you're not planning anything. And I always say to them, you know, that's funny. Antifa's the one that burned down all those police stations and public housing and shot people in the head and ran checkpoints and did all that terrible stuff. And BLM that got $10.6 billion, and Hollywood saying they wanted to bankrupt the economy and basically use COVID to drive Trump from power. And so past activity is always the best indicator of future activity. And so, no, we're not planning to come to D.C. to overrun the Capitol. We're not planning to go to D.C. to shoot anybody or bomb anything. That's the last thing we want. We're there to show the numbers that Joe Biden can't get 1,000 people out or 100 people out. And everywhere Trump goes, he can get 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, or 5 million. Be part of history. Fight for Trump, fight for yourself, fight for America, fight for voting integrity. Fight with the First Amendment and with nonviolent action.
I can tell you there is no way Joe Biden won this election. We are going to go across this nation. We are going to lock arms with other organizations and patriots just like yourself.
I believe the order will be Alex Jones, myself, Mike Flynn, I believe Roger Stone. Tomorrow's the day that could determine the 2020 election while millions of Trump supporters and patriots are in D.C. So that's pretty much where we're at right now.
Have you spoken here already?
Yeah, I just spoke.
All right. All right, we're about to roll with Alex Jones. You want to roll with us? Okay. All right, let's do it.
All right,
Get ready, Owen.
Nice night.
You.
To introduce a man who was the genesis in many ways of the Second American Revolution. It started on public access television, will tomorrow turn into millions of Americans in the streets of Washington, D.C. to take our republic back. And have only begun our fight against their tyranny. They have tried to steal this election in front of everyone. And as I told them 20 years ago, I tell them again, I don't know how this is going to end, but if they want to fight, they better believe they've got one. I trust in the plan of God. I trust in Jesus Christ. I trust in the narrow road, not the easy road. I trust in the great contest of ending. I trust in my forebears, and I trust in you, created by God. The globalists are in fear. The globalists want to play God. They are not God. And the answer to their 1984 tyranny is 1776.
Entry or VIP, this means you have an existing email, there's very few of you, you need to be right here. Now if you're expedited or VIP, you need to be right in this corner. We're going to put you at this table. If your name is not on a list, no one can talk you through. We have Secret Service. So this means Women for America First or Stop the Steal.
Great to meet you.
Media will not show the magnitude of this crowd. And when I turned on today, I looked and I saw thousands of people here, but you don't see hundreds of thousands of people behind you because they don't want to show that. We have hundreds of thousands of people here, and I just want them to be recognized by the fake news media. Turn your cameras, please, and show what's really happening out here, because these people are not going to take it any longer. They're not going to take it any longer. Go ahead, turn your cameras, please, would you show? They came from all over the world, actually, but they came from all over our country. Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump! Thank you. And by the way, does anybody believe that Joe had 80 million votes? Does anybody believe that? That election, our election, was over at 10 o'clock in the evening. We're leading Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, by hundreds of thousands of votes. And then late in the evening or early in the morning, boom, these explosions of bullshit. And all of a sudden, it started to happen. Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. I want to thank you all. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you all for being here. This is incredible. Thank you very much.
historic moment as America awakens to the New World Order. It is an incredible honor and an incredible pleasure to get to meet and see so many amazing human souls, so many great Americans. Let's go to our countrymen! USA! 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 USA!
Nobody planned this, but Trump's actually getting his inauguration on January 6, 2021 right now, folks. They've really screwed the pooch on this. We're going all out peacefully. We have the facts on our side. We don't want any violence. We decry violence. We're not BLM. We're not Antifa. We're here to let the system know that we know we had our vote stolen and we can put millions in the streets when Biden can't even fill 6 circles in his little COVID meetings. All right, I need everybody out of the way because I got to try to get this crowd off there because they're trying to provocateur so Trump won't come.
Easy, watch the tree, watch the people sitting down.
You go on the other side of the camera.
Right.
There's a lot of instigators up front trying to get us to fight the cops. It looks bad right now. Lady cops got hit. Lady cops got hit in the beginning. There's bad optics up front.
Listen to me. We've got a permit on the other side. It's great that this happened, but the Trump's not going to come when we've taken this over. We're not Antifa. We're not BLM. You're amazing. I love you. Let's march around to the other side, and let's not fight the police and give the system what they want. We are peaceful. We won this election, and as much as I love seeing the Trump flags flying over this, we need to not have the confrontation with the police. They're going to make that the story. I'm going to march to the other side where we have a stage where we can speak and occupy peacefully. Tell everybody behind you, march to the other side. March to the other side. You guys are better. You guys are great. But the police, provocateurs have caused a problem, and the police are throwing flashbangs. We don't want to have a Kent State here. So, I love you. We're saving the Republic. This is beautiful. But please tell everyone you know, march to the other side. March.
Start to make a path for us back there.
We're going to march. Trump is going to speak over here. Trump is going to be on the other side. So march with us. Go slow. Come on, man. Yes. Tell people behind you. Come off the stage. We're not stealing the stage like the Democrats did. You done a great job. Come down off of there. Let's peacefully.
Like, Jones led this attack on, what the fuck? Like, I take a shotgun, blow my foot off because it's so fucking fun. Okay, well, here's what happened. It was just a beautiful day. It was a big victory. It was great. We had our First Amendment rally like we had many others before. The last thing we wanted was violence. And then before Trump even began speaking, provocateurs break into the Capitol and lead a very small minority of the people that showed up in support of free and open elections on January 6th to act like idiots. The Capitol Police have now admitted that basically they were understaffed and knew that an attack was coming. And then, sure enough, the Capitol Police stand down, and the rest is history. It was a total nightmare, one of the worst days of my life. An absolute disaster for us trying to show our peaceful numbers. And the idea that I wanted this or I planned this is just disgusting. And now I get to read the New York Times saying, we need to use the CIA and the military against insurgents. We need to arrest all of the Trump supporters. And they're on TV with straight faces saying basically a third of the country or more needs to be surveilled and arrested.
Stop the steal! Freedom! I want freedom!
And people are like, oh, Jones, you're running scared. I'm not running scared. This whole country's in deep trouble. Which I'm just ranting. The whole thing's horse shit. It's all just insane. So there you go. You guys ever get the clip saying, I will always fight for you? Checking. My man, that's what I asked for, but I don't know. So that's what I really want this morning. No dice?
Working on it now.
All right, tell what I'm doing with them. They're having a conversation. It's on Gateway Pundit. I will always fight for you. We'll be back in some form. Please, pretty please, double sugar on top, okay? She's gonna start the show with that, so a little bit of hope. It's all that.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 0 hour, January 20th, 2021. And the 46th president of the United States has just been installed in a giant coup for the globalist and the communist Chinese. Joe Biden looking like a corpse with fake hair blowing around. You can clearly say America was born July 4th, 1776. You can really say it died January 20th, the year 2021. Let's go ahead and hear a little bit from old creepy Chi-Com Joe.
There is truth and there are lies. Lies told for power and for profit.
Everything coming out of his
mouth.
And
each of us has a duty and a responsibility as citizens, as Americans, and especially as leaders.
Totally divide this country.
Leaders who have pledged to honor our Constitution and protect our nation.
There's the war criminal Bush.
To defend the truth and defeat the lies. Look.
Defeat the lies.
To all those who supported our campaign, I'm humbled by the faith you've placed in us. To all those who did not support us, let me say this. Hear me out as we move forward. Take a measure of me and my heart. The right to dissent peaceably within the guardrails of our republic is perhaps this nation's greatest strength.
No, this way. That way? Never drive this.
There you go. Watch out, because there's some dents up here.
I got it. Ah! You're that hawk. Nice down there, huh? You just disappear down here for at least 10 years till the globalists take you over.
One thing about him is he has always just loved nature.
Stop that, Rex.
He has. He always has.
Enough about me. Rex being ridiculous.
He's always loved nature. Ever since I was a little kid, all
everybody
I
loves
wanted to do was
nature.
Go on hikes, go fishing. He really just needs a space where he can roam and be free. He's like a buffalo.
Hey, Rex. Let's go shoot. I've been on there 27 years, and I've never thought about how is this going to affect me. My fear is of failure, not of death. But they could put me in prison or they could kill me at any time. And I just hope that I can do the best job I can to maintain doing good work into the future, however long that is. And I've already had a great life.
Okay. Just aiming right at the sun. Get that whole cloud bank and all that. Is the sun setting on America and representative democracy? Or is it rising on a new day of people that are well informed? It's time that Americans start demanding real information.
The weirdness I've seen in my life, the bizarre happenings, just the incredible discoveries that I've been blessed to be part of. Truth is stranger than fiction. And that's not because I'm Alex Jones. It's because of the time we live in. We live in such an incredible time right now. But really, my personal best moments of my life are feeling that Zen understanding of timelessness and those moments in eternity that are endless. Those are the best moments of my life. And really realizing that we're just part of infinity. And you see the steps, and you know that it's not going to go exactly how you want it to, but there's going to be a goal at the end you reach that's better for everybody. And you know it's going to be painful. You know you're going to make mistakes. You know you're going to even hurt people on the way, but you're doing it from a place of goodness. And so you forgive yourself for that. And it's that process of being destroyed that by the end you're complete.